Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do the dividend portfolio update for September. Now this portfolio is held between two different brokerages, one with my wife and one with mine. This is what we live off of, this is what we're retired off of. Now, to know where you're going forward, you need to look back. So last month in August was an excellent month for us. We actually did, between options and dividends, over $12,000. Now part of that was because Misty paid twice. So that definitely skewed the numbers. But in order to track our dividends, we use the dividend tracker. Now, it's not perfect, but I think that it's a good middle ground to keep an eye on your portfolio. They don't exactly have the income figured out because YieldMax pays 13 times a year and they are figuring it on 12. So when we look at the dividend yield, the yield on cost, the September income, and the annual net income, these numbers are all low because of that. But as you see, we're at $175,915. Now, we did drop down to $169 and we bought a bunch of new positions to follow our no NAV decline policy. So the way we do that is we take our options premium and buy more assets whenever it drops below 175,000 in order to prop up the NAV. So let's go ahead and jump into what we have been buying and look at the overall portfolio. So the first thing we added to was AIPI by Rex. Now, we wanted to get this up to 150 shares, which we have now done. It is split between both our portfolios. So it's going to add some nice monthly income, paying over $1 a month. Now, it does have a little bit of NAV decline, but it has been recovering nicely lately. So we've got our 13 shares of Curve AMZP, which is on Amazon. Now, two new positions I've added in my portfolio is Baggy and Biddy. All right, these are Amplify Bitcoin strategy plays. Now, we already have a lot of crypto-based plays in here, but I wanted to keep an eye on these two. I have one share of each. Obviously, if I decide to go into them, I probably won't go more than 10 or 20 shares each. It's just a little sampling from a different provider. Now, the next one is BTCI. We did end up getting that up to 100 shares. We will be adding more to that. Honestly, anything by Neos, we actually love. So here's a new position, COIW. Now, these are the new weekly pay by Roundhill. We have 50 shares of it. Now, next we have Coney, which we had 1,500 shares. And then we've got FEPI. Now this one is at 270 shares right now. Now Rex is a great company and I really like FEPI. It is a little bit more stable than AIPI, which is its sister fund. So we will probably add another 30 shares to this in the future. But since the portfolio is up to 175, we don't buy right now. So we will be hitting that up whenever the market drops again. Next is the 22 shares of Goop with Curve. And here's another new one. And this one has been paying like crazy. And that is HOOW. Now, obviously, Robinhood's been on a tear lately. I can remember earlier this year selling, options on it for half of what it is now. So it definitely has been tearing this year. Its new S&P inclusion makes it skyrocket even higher. So anything to do with it is going to be just turning into gold. I think the latest payment is over $1 again, which is just amazing to me. But we have 50 shares, but because these are all so high right now, we're probably not going to be adding any more of these anytime soon. Next is Hui, which is a YieldMax fund. That's HOOY. We have 100 shares of that, and that's been paying quite nicely lately too. So no real complaints here. Here's another new one, Maggie. Now this is Roundhill's Magnificent 7. It also pays on Mondays, which we don't have anything else that pays on Mondays. But I ended up buying up to 50 shares on it. That way every Monday I'm getting a nice little payday. But once again, we probably won't be adding to it because it's at like $57 right now. We have Misty, which paid us twice last month. And honestly, I can't complain. We have 1,578 shares of it. And I'm not planning on growing that position anytime soon. Next is NFLP, which is Netflix through Curve. 10 shares of that. just a steady payer. I got no complaints. Here's another new one, another weekly. NVDW. That's a Round Hill fund. We bought 50 shares of that. So that one has been paying quite nice. Not as high a yield as the Robinhood one, but still it's paying very nice. NVIDIA, not adding, but it just made a nice payment to us actually today at the time of recording this. So I'm not complaining. That one just keeps knocking its cost basis down. Next we have PLTW, which is the Palantir version of the weekly pay by Round Hill. And that's 50 shares as well. That was a great addition. I think long term that's going to do quite well. Next is Plady, which has been paying us quite nice from YieldMax. Once again, we are not growing anything from YieldMax right now. That is a big thing I'm trying to get through to everybody. We have our shares. We're not trying to reinvest. We just want to pull all that capital out. Next is one of my true favorites, and I think you guys are going to see this position grow very big time over the next couple years even, and that's QQQI. With its tax-efficient strategy, a 14% yield, Neos is actually building something here with indexed options that I think will be probably one of the best performing funds on a conservative level for the long term. I have 223 shares of that. But I can tell you guys, there's going to be big chunks of money coming in probably the next year or so, and I will be going deep in this position. Next is TSLP by Curve, 10 shares of that. I'm not into anything really Tesla based. This is my wife's position. So she wanted 10. I was content to let her have those. She collects the cash and doesn't complain. Next is TSMY. This is our YieldMax Group A get something play. It hasn't been terrible, but it certainly hasn't been great. 100 shares of that. Definitely not adding any more to that. All right, next is XDTE, which is a Round Hill. It's been around for quite a while. I feel like it's holding up its NAV reasonably well in the markets that it's in. You know, turmoil will make these funds bounce all over the place, and they can't recover as fast as the market does. So you have to expect some decline, but it's working its way back up. And with 478 shares, it just pounds out a nice 21 cent payment every single week, which gives me the capital I need to live my life here, basically retired. So next we have YBTC. Now we rounded that off to 50 shares. And I feel like that was actually a very good move because we got it before the price started going back up. So I am really happy with those purchases, and I do not think that we'll be adding any more to that right now because we are very heavily crypto exposed. Next is YMAG, and this is also the last one of the list. And we have 1,076 shares of this. Now, I have been collecting on this a long time. I was the person screaming YMAG over YMAX back in the day, and I still feel that way today. Now, I will say that the 1 week where there's only one payer and the lower pay kind of stinks, but when you average it all out and figure it all out, you are getting a nice chunk of money from YMAG if you're in it. And you should not be unhappy about it. And the share price is doing a decent job of trying to hold up even through some crazy movements between Tesla and Apple and all the other things that are in it. So when we look at the whole thing, it's $175,000. We know that last month we did like $10,000 in dividends. So I think that tells you how much you can do with a small amount of money. Now we are reinvesting, and our option premium goes back in to prop this up. But right now we're at $175,000. So we can go ahead and pull out any option premium we have and spend it, and it's not an issue. Now, if you want to see how much we make every month and everything we do, you need to check out our community post or our Facebook page. You know, both those we post monthly about how much we made doing what, and we're very transparent about our numbers. And then we do these updates so we can be transparent with you to show you guys what we are reinvesting in. Honestly, we're not touching much that has above a 35% yield right now. We're looking to safeten up our portfolio, and here soon, I think pretty much QQQI is going to be the play to build it up even more with a very stable NAV and a stable income, because right now that's what we're looking for. I really don't feel like our numbers are very bad, and I think that we live in a great time that you can be retired off $175,000. It's not all dreams. You don't get to take all of the $12,000 we took and made last month and go run around and spend it. No, you have to reinvest a percentage of that to keep these portfolios kicked up. But you're left with plenty to do anything you need to do. And that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos, because we got some good ones coming down the pipe. Check out our Retire On series where we look at how many shares and how much we'd have to invest to get 60 grand a year off any one given stock. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.